Don't cry out loud, keep it inside. Learn how to hide your feelings. Well, not anymore because Mars is stationed direct, so go on, cough it up. Hello, Leo. Welcome to your very first horoscope of 2023. My name is Uma. I'm so happy to have you here. And this is the horoscope, tarot and astrology for the Aquarius new moon. This is happening on January the 22nd. If you're in the southern hemisphere with me, it'll be a morning moon. So just at sunrise, pretty much, will be actually a lovely moment to maybe sit with this energy and to ask for what you hope to see materialize in your life over the course of the next bit of time. All of these manifestation opportunities are to be considered as marker points to sit and reflect. And then I wouldn't suggest you put any kind of time limit on this stuff, because that's when we start to mechanize the spirituality, and I don't think that's helpful. I think if you give yourself pressure, then it won't happen because you're hyper-focused. So what I'm going to do is I'm just pulling some intuitive tarot right now, and I'll show you as I go along. But I wanted to use a bit more language that was conversational rather than maybe focusing so much on the exactitudes of the degrees and the aspects. It might be nice just to look at these patterns and then I'll tell you a story. What I can see for you straight off the bat, Leo, is that this lunation is going to be optimal time for you to focus and work on your love language in the way that you relate to other people, or the way that you would like to relate to other people in your life, the ones that you consider your nearest and dearest, the folks that aid your experience on this planet, the way that you come together in relationship of the many different varieties and colors that relationships can take. This is the moon. This is the moon to make beautiful, romantic, magical wishes for yourself and for the folks that you care about. There's some great company in this place for you. The seventh house is where we come into relationship with others. And there's a lovely partnership between Venus, the planet of love and beauty and pleasure, and Saturn, the taskmaster, the one that teaches us boundaries. They've come together in conjunction, and they're sort of gently glowing there in it's almost like a massage, I might say. There's a feeling of Venus sort of like loosening the grip of Saturn a little bit. I understand that Saturn has been in your house of relationship for the last maybe 2-ish years. They're going to move on through later in this year. They're going to release this space for you, and hopefully there will be some lessons learned, and there will be some healthy boundaries put in place for how much you invest in other people and what you expect from them in return. But I think I like this coupling in the house of the couple, Leo. It's really nice. I don't know how you consider your romantic life, and I don't know what shape or pattern that takes. It may be full up at the moment. It may be something that you'd like to work on. Either way, the quality of the weather in that space is something that you can make wishes on. It's really supportive. It's really optimistic, is what I'm seeing. I feel that there's some level of defense. There's a guard that's been built up around you, Leo. And I get it. I completely get it. I think that there's been some sense of you're carrying so much, and you've got one foot up in the air and you're balancing a whole bunch of shit. And I suspect that maybe there has been a repetition of judgment, but like an inquisition into your position, what it is that you're expressing to the world, or what it is that what position you put yourself in as far as responsibility for other folks is coming into question here with this intuitive tarot. You can see the image in the Seven of Wands. There's a defense mechanism that's been activated. This is actually really powerful Leo energy as well, this card. Whenever you think of the Seven of Wands, I'd like you to remember that the emphasis you put on self-expression and on magic, I might say, is what makes you so remarkable, Leo. We love that part of you. We love the stardust in your mane, that's for sure. I can see that time and again of continual fronting up, continual presentation of your perspective, of your version of self-expression has over time and in and out, but may have you in a place of defense, a place of having to defend your magical impulses. I also see this figure 8 in the Two of Pentacles as a workable shape. You know, 8's a very lucky number, and 8's something that we all can strive for. You know, and 8 pushed over is the symbol of eternity. And I see this between your first house of Leo and your seventh house of Aquarius. And right now, there seems to be an emphasis of energy in that seventh house. So when you think of Aquarian attributes, you may have some planet placements in Aquarius, I'm not sure. But when you think of Aquarius, does your mind go to a sense of belonging and a sense of sort of humanity? There's something very intellectual about the Aquarian self, and there's something sort of calculating and analytical, but in the purest of senses. The major secret of the tarot that can be representative of Aquarius is the star. They're almost like some sort of alien, some sort of extraterrestrial that's been zapped down here on planet Earth to sort us all out. I wonder if these are conversations that you feel free enough to have in your relationships. I wonder if there's a sense of gently gazing out that you can muster in regard to your partnerships. This isn't to say that any of your Leo sensibility is to be ashamed of. I would never say that for a moment. We've got to love a Leo. And I'll say it again, as I always do. This is where it's all coming from. Your Leo self owns the heart chakra. There's a mane around your heart, Leo, that's so full of love. And those feelings of love are informed by the company of other folks. So there's a collaboration, there's a collaborative sentiment that's being drilled home in this reading for you, Leo. At this new moon in Aquarius, I think that collaboration might be at the top of your to-do list. We collaborate with our lovers, we collaborate with our family. There's a give and a take and a give again. We both get to experience support in healthy relationships. And so maybe this defensiveness that you possibly could be feeling or have felt has room to relax a bit, has room to dissipate. As you meditate on the sentiment of Aquarius. In the esoteric philosophy, there is a mantra that can be assigned to each of the zodiacs, really simple, beautiful words. For Aquarius, it is water of life am I, poured forth for thirsty humanity. And you can see that in a drawing in this card. It's remarkable. The coincidences of the different significations, the different forms of spiritual work and philosophy are all sewn in together in some way. That's what we do here with astrology. We just find the patterns, we find the links that connect and bind us. We find that figure 8 between ourselves and the other. These are all beautiful, potent messages that I'd like for you to write down and to relish in the idea of your healthy relationships, to be really proud of them and to express how grateful you are for them to the other as well. And when Venus and Saturn are glimmering in that 7th house for you too, there's a great feeling of not relaxed boundaries so much, because I think that boundaries are very important, to keep your energy protected, and you can't consistently give to the other and give to the other and give to the other, because you'll have nothing left to give after a time. But just in regard to this sort of element of defensiveness, there's that boundary that can be built up and built up and built up because we think we're protecting ourselves. We think that we're, galvanizing our steel in order to not let the perpetrator in, the violence in, the criticism. A magical boundary is different to a fortress. A magical boundary, it's a ring of salt, it's nothing. It's a simple ritual that can protect you. And you can still see and feel and smell the other person so beautifully. But if you imagine that ring of salt here as well. Your heart's very important to keep safe, Leo. That's your control center, So we've got to make sure that it's healthy. We've got to make sure that it's got everything that it needs and that it's being respected. Yeah. I want to maybe just take our mind over gently to this sentiment of humanity, as I was saying, this beautiful Aquarian ideology of solutions for the greater human species. I said at the very top of this reading that Mars is stationed direct. It did so on the 13th, which is today, actually, the day that I'm recording these. And so in that passionate direction, that directive perhaps that you may have, ideas that are forming for solutions for this mess that we're in as human folk. Maybe some of this can be rewrite your own language, and I think probably maybe if there is fears or concerns or worry that's banking up, that is to be shared. You can share that with folks that you love, and I don't think for a moment that you should feel that you need to protect them from it, because you're not trying to drag them through any sort of doom scroll. There's definitely things as a human condition, a human species, that we need to tend to right now. And so I think that I can see that you've got an action plan, is what I'm saying, Leo. There's definitely some passion here. There's fire. There's charge. There's confidence. That's almost being let off the leash now. It's been held back and back. I think if you maybe want to cast your mind back to maybe October of last year, and that would have been the first feeling of, whoa, okay, let's reevaluate. There's so much that I want to say. There's so much that I can see isn't working. There's so much cruelty and unfairness. How am I going to harness this anger? We'll say it, anger's fine to have. How are we going to harness this into something that I can move forward with language that I can articulate in a clear and concise way? How can I be Aquarian in the conversation of my 11th house? For Leo risings, Gemini rules the 11th, so it is kind of more of a staccato sort of chatter that can sometimes result when Mars is there, that fire. But Aquarius is your 7th house. Aquarius is your house of relationship. There's reliability in there, I might say. And so this lunation, this new moon, the sun and the moon at 1 degree of Aquarius, gently rolling over to Aries and saying hello to Jupiter, which is lovely. And in turn, Jupiter is rolling over to Mars. There's something of a relationship between these three signs, Aquarius, Aries, and Gemini, at this lunation. There's support there. There's some sextiles and there's a trine by proxy. I think that you wish to expand your mind. I think that you wish to learn more, as much as it is that you already know. I can sense that it's almost like I'm looking for the opportunity to collaborate, is what I'm getting here. I want to collaborate on my philosophical understanding, which will aid the solutions in my concept of humanity, which will aid in my relationships. You can see that, isn't that nice? There's that sort of micro to macro to micro again. Consider the 7th house as like intimate relationship. 11th house is the macro relationship. It's a relating to one another as a whole. Venus is conjunct Saturn. In Aries, Jupiter is conjunct the asteroid Juno. So another word for Jupiter is Zeus. Another word for Juno is Hera. So you can see when that collaboration works, and often it doesn't, but when that collaboration works, there's opportunity. And right now, that collaboration is happening in your 9th house. I've said a mouthful here, Leo, and I hope that there has been some possibilities for you, because this is a potent place to begin a new year, thinking of the other, thinking of how I wish to create relationships that are intimate and caring and kind and sensitive and gentle. It's a great footing to cap off everything. We had the full moon in Cancer 2 weeks ago, which I was taking a rest through. So there was a glut of emotions. Now, I think with this Aquarian energy, we can take what we've learned from those emotions. We can rest assured that our passion is directed now, thanks to Mars, and we can move forward and we can start mapping out how it is we wish to cohabitate from now on. Yeah, that's your reading, Leo. Thank you very much for seeing me through. You were the first one that I decided to do, and that worked really well. It's been sticky. I'm not even going to mention Mercury retrograde, because by the time this lunation happens, Mercury will have stationed direct too. So if there is data loss, trust that the messages will be a bit more coherent come the 19th of January as well. Head to umaruby.com and I'd be very happy to read your birth chart. You can tip me for my work at buymeacoffee.com/umaruby. And until I see you in 2 weeks for the full moon in Leo, your first house, for a bit of expression, release, know that I love you, know that I'm with you, and I can't wait to see what happens for us this year. Take care, Leo. Bye.